we're in a world war, like it or not. Although it may not be winnable now, this is something, for our way of life, we need to continue. Eldon made a point when he said it's not winnable. There are those who say it may not be winnable, but we need to constantly push back the threat, as we did with the Mujahideen. How do you respond to that?
That the Democratic Party and the left was screaming and yelling that the Iraq war was unwinnable, that Iraq had been lost. And it's incredible that when we look today, we know that Al-Qaeda's back was broken by the American military, and thank God for General Petraeus and his strategy that achieved a lot of victory there at the moment. And Iraq is moving into a civil society and civil democracy. Even Al-Qaeda transcripts are now saying that they've got to go elsewhere to fight jihad, that the battle there has been lost. So, you know, a lot of these defeatists, and especially on the left, they say that these wars are unwinnable. They're only saying that because they want to see the security of the Western world and of the United States to be hurt. As you said, Christine, earlier on, or alluded to, whether things can be won overnight or not is not the issue. The issue is there's some wars, like with Nazi Germany, like with the Soviet Union in terms of the Cold War, that have to be fought. And what Stu's alluding to also is, of course, strategy is very important, and a strategy can either win or lose a war.
Obama first came into power, and sadly enough, this was on the back pages. I guess following Bush, we understand why, given the press that Bush was given. But Obama, one of the first things he did when he came into power, he was striking Taliban targets in Pakistan. Just a word there I thought I'd mention. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, absolutely. And a lot of the bases are in Pakistan, and that's one of the few things that Obama's doing right, is that they have to go into Pakistan and dislodge, because that's where a lot of the cancer is located.
Yeah, okay, let's go now to Dave on line 8. Hello, Dave, you're on the line.
Hello?
Hi, Dave.
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Hi, I'd just like to say I really agree with Dr. Jamie Glazov, because I don't think Canada should pull out in 2011. I think there's way too much work needs to be done. And now that he just told us they're killing babies in hospitals, you know, what else do we have to expect? They throw acid in girls' faces. And what about the insurgents? How come the insurgents hasn't kicked in yet?
Just a sec, I just want to thank you very much for that support. Stu, do you notice that people call and support me and not you so far? I think that's very telling about how the show's going.
I think we also be telling about CTS's audience.
No, wait a minute.
To be fair to Stu.
Most of the comments have said that they support Glazov. Okay, wait a minute. I just want to say
Hey,
that,
some said we should pull out, okay?
That what I mentioned there earlier is that we know how women were treated under the Taliban and continue to be treated. What I was saying is, under that regime of the Taliban, one of the things they were doing was performing cesareans on women without anesthetic on women. And we can go into a million other injustices perpetrated against women there. Yeah, so we can move on. I think we agree. We're just talking also about strategy, obviously, and how, and Stu is bringing up, I'm not sure if I agree completely on everything, but he's saying it's very important to win the loyalty of the populace.
Yes, and what were you saying about our audience there, Stuart? What were you saying?
Yeah, you said something.
You said something about CTS? What did you say?
What was that all about?
Say it again.
Mostly it's conservative.
I was just assuming that CTS is probably not drawing heavily from my former political party base.
Which is the
what?
NDP?
Yeah.
Will you admit that I argued so effectively on the last show that you were somewhat convinced on a few levels, and it has motivated your shift to the right?
Yeah, a little bit of a shift to the right. You know, there's thoughts about
I haven't shifted to the right. I've been kicked to the right. I've been kicked to the right.
Maybe a lot of Canadians have, according to this survey that we'll be talking about soon.
I think if Stu reads my book, we're going to see a major transformation.
Okay, Stu, you got a project here.